my friends. Welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and if you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing for lots more diamond painting content, and if you are back, welcome back. Today I'm here with a WIP and Chat, or technically a Kit Up and Chat. WIP stands for Work in Progress, and Chat stands for Chat. So feel free to whip out your WIP and work alongside me while I catch up with you in my little weekly video here. So I love to use these videos to just chat with you about what's been going on in my week, both as far as like crafting and content and family stuff and personal life goes. And today, just the way the timing works out is I actually have a new kit that I need to kit up. So I used to do these a little bit more often, but the timing just hasn't quite worked out this way. Which is a little bit of a bummer because I just filmed a small shop haul and was really excited to test out some of those accessories in this week's WIP and Chat. So that, I guess, is just going to have to wait another week. But I hope that you guys enjoy hanging out with me while I'm kitting up my next project, which is actually, well, it's obviously here from Jaded Gem Shop. And it is actually a mystery kit. Now, here's the nice thing, you guys, is I don't have to give you any kind of spoiler alert at all because of the way that Jaded Gem Shop does mystery kits. They completely vary from person to person and can have just everything to do with your personal taste and your choice. And so it's not like there's just a general like, okay, this is the one mystery kit that Jaded Gem Shop has to offer. It's 100% customizable, which is really, really cool. I'm gonna tell you more about it once we start getting into this, but I really wanna get started and see how much we can get kitted up just in this video. So anyway, all the diamonds for this kit are in these baggies. When I said mystery kit, I didn't want anyone to panic and be like, oh no, there was no spoiler alert. You don't need a spoiler alert because it's my mystery kit. It's what she created for me. And it may, it's not necessarily like it would be the same as yours. So anyway, so yeah, this is a set of pre-cut stickers, which is going to be really nice. And then we have our diamonds, which they are squares. And they are fantastic quality. I'm excited for those. And then I'm using my go-tos, my ride or die storage containers, which are the Elizabeth Ward brand or the off brand. At this point, I have like 8 trays or something with various sizes of container in them, and they've all been freely mixed together. And so there's some that are like the Elizabeth Ward brand from Amazon. There's some that are like the off brand from AliExpress. Some that are like yet another different kind of brand from like Joann's. It's just there's a whole mix in here. So I grabbed 2 trays because I don't know what all I'm gonna want to mix and match as far as the containers go. And I did 0 setup before I came in to start with you guys. So I'm gonna leave that to the side, and we're gonna put this one out. I need to make some space because I'm not sure what sizes we're gonna start out with. So hi, how are you guys doing today? I hope your day is off to a really amazing start so far, and your week as well. I am glad that it's a new week. The kids are heading back to school after being on spring break, which is going to be really nice. I love having them around, but also it's definitely like changes the rhythm a little bit at home. So here's what I'm going to do, I think. Let me make this more accessible and reasonable for myself. Okay. So I'm going to sort out these diamonds because they're not in like DMC order, I don't think. Let's see what we're working with here. But I'm going to group them a bit so that it's a little easier to work with. Yeah, the kids are heading back to school this week. I'm going to group them by DMC. So we have a bunch of 310. And then, we have an AB, you guys. It's going to be really fun. That's going to go at the end. That's the very, very end. And some 800s. Okay, I'm going to try to talk and not narrate literally the entire time. So we had a really good Easter weekend. We got to see family and do lots of other fun stuff. Adam is gaming in the background. And I was like, it has been honestly a very full day. And so I might sound a little fatigued. My apologies if that's the case. But I was also just really looking forward to sitting down with you guys to chat. So, I'm excited to get started on this project. I was really just intrigued in general by the concept of how Jade does her mystery kits. And let me tell you a little bit more about that. So the way that it works is she has a listing on her website for mystery kits, and you can go on there and be like, okay, I want to get a mystery kit. You choose what size you want to get, And then you can pick, heck, you could even tell her, like, can you make me a mystery kit of this exact artwork? Which I guess you could do that if you're like, I really want to work on like a black and white canvas, because here's how the canvas printing is. She sends it with, don't panic. It has this solid paper cover, which actually she's upgrading to a thicker paper cover so you can't see the symbols at all. This is still poured glue. It's not double-sided adhesive, even though we have that paper cover. But then it's black and white symbols on the canvas. And so it's not colored symbols. So the colors, as the drills, as you're placing them, the image is being revealed to you gradually. So if you want to, it can actually be a true mystery for you. Now, I unboxed this kit and spur of the moment in that unboxing decided that I wanted to reveal the image to myself and to you guys. And so we looked at the image in that video. And so it's not actually a surprise for me. However, I actually don't remember the exact design of the artwork. Like I don't remember the colors, like how the color spread goes and some of the specific details. So it's still going to be really enjoyable to work on. But anyway, you go to listing and you pick what size you want. And I was like, okay, for a mystery kit, especially like from, like this is new concept that you have, Jade. I was like, let's do like a 40 by 40. And then I was like, can you just pick any image on my wish list that would look good in this size? And I'll just otherwise leave it in your hands. And so that's what she did. And that's what you guys can actually do. If you're like, I want to get a mystery kit, and Jade Gem Shop has a huge library of images, hundreds and hundreds of images. You can give her as little or as much guidance as you want to. You could literally be like, surprise me with any image on the website, just so long as it is in the size that I paid for. And you know what else is she actually also will sometimes do unreleased images as the mystery kit, like images that have yet to be released, but are licensed, of course. So I think that just is really, really fun. You can also give her some general guidelines like, hey, I want a mystery kit, I'm buying this size. And then you put in the order notes, like, can it be something for my wish list, which is what I did. Or you can say, can it be from this artist? Or can it be in this genre? Like, I really want an animal, or I really want a portrait, or I really want something that's like a romantic piece or like a horror piece or something like that. Like, I think that is just so fun. It makes a completely customizable mystery kit experience, and you're getting licensed artwork still, which is great. And especially if like it's something on your wish list, like me, I had like 40 kits on my wish list. I was like, well, I know it's going to be something I'm going to like because it was on my wish list. So, all right, I've got all these DMCs sorted. So let's go ahead and we're going to grab, these are pre-cut stickers, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. So it comes in these heat sealed plastic baggies. There's multiples. I think this will fit in a small container. Okay, so here's how we're going to go. And I want to make sure you guys can see it actually. Here we go. I'm going to shift you. Don't get seasick, okay? So you can actually see me loading and working here. Okay. It's a little messy. So for those of you that are here for like, I like to watch you place diamonds. I like to watch what you're doing on the screen. My apologies. My sincerest apologies. What if I double these up? What if I did like, let's cut open all of them at the same time. And then can we dump them all at the same time? How's that gonna go? Is that gonna work? Is it gonna be a disaster? Yeah, a little bit of a disaster. Gosh darn it. Well, I tried. Okay, do not recommend. Okay, we have a little bit of static, and I did not grab my dryer sheets. I might have to pause and go grab those. Yeah, I'm gonna need dryer sheets. That happens sometimes, you guys. Also, our weather has been changing wildly here in Southern California, and so I'm not shocked that I'm gonna need some dryer sheets. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. I'll be right back. We're back. For you guys, that was no time at all. For me, it was about 30 seconds. So I literally have this Ziploc bag that I'll cut up a dryer sheet and I just keep squares in there, and we use it when we need it. I don't know why I'm using like the royal we. Okay, yeah, no, these drills just went absolutely everywhere. You know what? Sometimes you just get to see my learning process in practice. Whoever said I had really polished content just really they don't know at all, I suppose. Anyway, what are we talking about? Oh, mystery kits. So, I'm not sure exactly where I left off, but yeah, I love that I basically just showed her my wish, or I just sent her the link to my wish list and was like, anything on here that you think looks good in this size. And yeah, so it comes with that paper cover on it. So it could truly, I didn't cut this all the way through. That's part of the problem. It could be like an actual true mystery. Like if I hadn't peeled it back to look at it, I would actually have no idea what the image is, but I do. I'll tell you guys. Again, it's not, I don't need a spoiler alert because this is just what my particular mystery kit ended up being, and it has absolutely no bearing on what yours would be unless you ask for this exact kit. So it's definitely a fox by the artist Martith Art. Like I said, I don't remember exactly what the artwork looks like the distribution of like colors and stuff like that, which I'm really okay with because I'm like, oh, well then I'll still get the joy of like seeing it revealed as I go a little bit. And I like the size, like the 40 by 40 I think is going to be really, really nice. And I really just needed to work with some really high quality like square drills and a rendering that I know I'm really gonna love. Jade's been releasing a lot of artwork from this artist lately, and I am stoked to finally be working on one because I love so much of it, and there's a lot of it that's on my wish list. Wow, that's static. Okay, so dryer sheet. I just put that like cut up piece of dryer sheet in there. If the static had been so bad that I couldn't get them out of the bags, like a lot of times if you have bad static, it'll just seem like the drills just want to like leap out of the bag and just go flying. Don't try to fill up your container if that's the case. Cut open the bag, put in the dryer sheet, and then kind of, you'll see me probably do it maybe in some of these other colors, and kind of fold it over and then shake it up. And that'll get rid of the static and it'll be so much easier to pour into the container. As it is, like I just put that dryer sheet in there and I'm just gonna go. And hopefully that's gonna do the trick. Actually, oh man, look at that static in there. Okay, I'm telling you what, it got really, really warm here this weekend. And when there's big temperature shifts like that, like forget it, forget it. So I think what I'll also do, like I'm just gonna do them as is right now. Like I'm not gonna try to organize them by symbol or anything right this moment, but I think what I'm gonna do to help myself with sorting through a mystery kit and the symbols, because when I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, all the symbols are black and white. I don't have any colors to go off of that are going to make these easier to find in the storage container when I'm going to look for that particular symbol. Like I'm going to look at the canvas and go, okay, I'm looking for this symbol. And I'm going to go look at my container and be like, okay, now I need to find this symbol. Usually that's easier for me if it's like, well, there's colors somewhere on it. Like, okay, it's got a blue background or something like that. But in this case, it's all black and white. So what I'm going to do ultimately is after everything is kitted up, I'm going to go back through and organize them roughly just by like symbols that are similar enough to one another that I can group them. So like I'll put all the letters together, the ones that have like the dots all together, or like, I don't know, letters, numbers, arrows. I'll find ways that'll make sense for my brain that I can group them. We'll get there. All right, next number I need is 223, which is, oh my gosh, you guys, you see this dusty rose. It's everything. We are not going to get this whole thing kitted up just in this video. I just know it because I'm already moving so slow. But yeah, I love that everything is so stinking highly customizable with Jada Gem Shop. Like being able to basically customize my mystery kit experience is such a treat, because even it's like some of these other companies, they do mystery kits, which is all super well and good. Like I've done mystery kits from other companies and absolutely adored the experience of working on those. But these I just love because it's like I can literally be like, I know it's going to be one of these pieces from my wish list, and that's a treat. I guess that it's not like 100% a surprise. But then I could go like, I love everything by this artist. Give me something by this artist. Okay, thanks. That color didn't have any static. So I did finish up my last project. I actually finished it up earlier today, and I did take a little break from that project partway through, and I worked on my cross-stitch conversion for a few days. This probably is gonna need, let's see if we can fit it in one of these, because that's a lot. I had to take a break and work on my cross-stitch conversion for a few days. It was tough. It was really tough, and I'm still thinking through like exactly how I want to go about like reviewing that particular kit, and it's really hard. And it's complicated. It's just really complicated. I've been diamond painting for 3 years now, and I've worked on so many different kits from so many different companies. I've seen companies go through changes, and it's like, okay, now we have a new manufacturer, now we have a new process of this, okay, we've changed this material. Like, I think that's not a bad thing. Like, it's good for companies to be like, okay, are there ways we can improve? But one thing that I really value and is kind of a must-have for me in any company, like, no matter what they're otherwise doing, is for companies to just be receptive to feedback, especially like if they're hearing it from multiple sources, I think. And like, I, as a customer, completely independent of having a YouTube channel, I want to know that when I contact a company with feedback, that I'm not going to be met with someone who's being defensive, someone who's going to gaslight me, someone who's going to blow up at me and get angry that if I told them something less than satisfactory about their kit, even if I word it in the most like respectful and constructive way. And it's pretty rare that there are companies that aren't receptive to feedback. But there's some that are more or less receptive than others. And I just feel like, I always, if I give feedback, I'm trying to see, could I actually fit this? Actually, I probably could, but it's fine. I'll just leave it. There's no static to matter. Anyway, so I've had a variety of experiences. Like, for example, I've literally told like Jada Gem Shop before, like, this rendering is looking super sketchy. There was actually like a color mistake in that one. Or I've even given less like extreme feedback than that before, where I just been like, maybe it's worth considering, like maybe this, or this is just something that I noticed. And same thing, like, especially when it's a brand new company, but I mean, both when it's a brand new company or if it's an older company, it's like, I think you should want to listen to your customers' feedback. You should want to know what's working, what's not working, because the thing is, like, word of mouth will get around, and if someone isn't having like a positive experience with working on something from your shop, they're not going to be a repeat buyer, ultimately. And again, word will kind of like just sort of get around, because you know what, you guys, even though this community is growing and has grown a lot since I started diamond painting 3 years ago, I keep bringing up that specific amount of time because I just had my like 3-year diamond painting anniversary on April 1st. But I just am like, this community is too small. Like, people talk and people notice, like, people will see like, oh wow, like this person really struggled with this kit, or that just didn't turn out very well. Or it's, I don't know. So that's just something that I really, really value. And like a lot of these companies out here, like I gave Randa some feedback, like you guys might have seen in like that post review video that I did. She was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate it. Like, I'm on it. Like, I'm going to talk with my manufacturer and get this. We're going to see if I can get this fixed before like the next run. I know it's in production. I'm going to see if I can fix it. I'm like, and so now she automatically has like a lot more confidence from me. Like, I feel good about continuing to buy from her, because I'm like, okay, not only is she receptive to feedback, but she is like, okay, yes, like I am totally, like, I hear what you're saying, like I'm gonna look into it. She takes it seriously, and she doesn't take it as like a personal attack. She's like, the business, like, okay, let's get it fixed, I'm gonna make it right. Like, that's what I'm looking for. So I don't know why I got that on that random tangent, but I get the impression that's what most people look for. Like, customer service will make or break a company's reputation and their whole vibe. So, yeah. Anyway, random tangent. I guess I was just talking about how I was generally having a difficult experience with my last project, and I'm trying to figure out like how to feel about the feedback that I gave in what I felt was a very kind and respectful and very gracious and understanding manner. And I'm just still processing what the response to that looked like and what that means for how I want to talk about that kit. So I guess stay tuned. It's the kit I worked on in my last WIP and Chat if you want to go and take a look. But I think I'd only just started it, so it was like I don't know that I had yet fully come across the concerns that I ended up having. Okay, these, I will tell Jade, I'll be like, I know that they make bigger bags of these. So why did I get shipped all of these in these tiny bags? You know what? I'm going to say that to Jade, and I'm not going to worry that she's going to get defensive or mad at me or make excuses. She's going to be like, oh yeah, that is weird. Sorry, I'll talk to them. Or she'll be like, yeah, it's just a thing that happens sometimes. Like, I don't have any control over it. And I decide like, okay, is this a big deal or not? Like, is this something that I really care about? No, this is like super small potatoes. It is kind of a lot of plastic waste, but it's not like I'm going to burn it down over it. So, anyway, moving on. So I've been doing a lot of kind of brainstorming and planning and thinking about, I think I probably mentioned this in last week's video, honestly, it's probably going to be a common theme. It's just thinking about like upcoming events. I'm very aware that I'm going to have like 3 months straight of events going, with Marvelous May happening. Ooh, I don't know if I would have talked about this last week in last week's WIP and Chat, because I was nervous that the Marvel release is going to get postponed again. No, so I'm doing the Marvelous May event in partnership with Diamond Art Club in the month of May. And I'm really stoked for that. I think it's going to be lots of fun. I want it to be like accessible and no frills in a lot of ways, but I like also really want to have fun with it. I do want to go ahead and plan out like, okay, here's what I want my content ideas to be for like the weekly videos. I'm thinking like a trivia night one night would be fun, and maybe like talking through like, these are my top favorite Marvel movies and why, your favorite Marvel characters. Maybe we'll like unbox some of the other Marvel kits. I don't know. And then I have to decide. I ended up buying 2 kits in the Marvel release itself. So I'd been sent Loki as a sneak peek, and I had like 2 that were must-haves that I wanted to buy, and 2 that were like, if they're limited edition, I'll jump on them. So the must-haves were Iron Man and Doctor Strange. And if they're limited edition and I still want them eventually, was Balance, which was the like kind of the team picture that had like several of the Avengers and then Thanos in them as well. It was that one, and then Captain America. I was like, I kind of want Captain America, but like it's not a must-have. Iron Man and Doctor Strange were must-haves, especially after Hello. Did you guys see Sophie's unboxing of Doctor Strange and how that whole background is special drills? Like, oh my gosh, I need it. I need it in my life. So those are both on the way to me. They've shipped, but they're not here yet. But yeah, I'm just kind of thinking through like Marvel content and stuff like that. So if you're a Marvel fan and you have like some specific like things that you would like to see as part of those like weekly videos, if you're like, ooh, it'd be really fun if you did like this, like some, I don't know, like I said, trivia night I thought would be really fun. I was like, we could do like a character study of like X character, you know. Loki is the one that came to mind because I love Loki. But yeah, we'll see. I'm also brainstorming a lot for summer with the Masters with Anthony. We just had a call this past week and talked about some ideas for like the pacing of content and how that's going to work. And he's got some really fun ideas, and it's kind of got my brain going on ways that like I could try to do some really interesting and creative things as well. I even joked to him like on that call, I was like, this is ridiculous. I live in Southern California with access to so many incredible like art related things. Like, there's so much in LA. There's so much even in Orange County. I'm like, I really should go out and get to some of these places and incorporate that into Summer with the Masters. I'm like, but I want to do some research and be like, well, what kind of art is currently on display? Like Adam and I went up to the Getty. There's the Getty Museum and the Getty Villa up in like Santa Monica and another city I'm blanking on, basically up in the LA area. Those were really incredible places to go and check out, but I don't remember the exact timeline of like the artwork that was there or anything. That had enough static. I was like, let's do a dryer sheet. But how fun would it be to go up there and incorporate that into one of my weekly videos? Whether it's the Getty Museum or again, like hello, LA has to have just tons and tons and tons of options as far as like artwork, like museums and other spaces like that go. And I feel like it's really silly for me not to take advantage. So we shall see. I will definitely have to go and take a look. But yeah, so we've been planning, and that was really fun to just chat, and I love his enthusiasm for the event and for the content that we want to put together. And I'm hoping that it's going to be a really, really fun year with Summer with the Masters. And I was talking with Jessica a little bit about it the other day, and she was still sending like all of her love, and she's excited to like participate if she's able and whatnot. So she's doing a lot of traveling this summer, which is part of the reason she had to step back. She's like, I'm going to be away a lot. It's like, totally fine. You want to do like a special installment where, oops, that lid just popped right off. This is likely then one of either the Joann's or the AliExpress version. For me, I've found that the lids that just pop right out like that are usually the off-brand. They're not the actual Elizabeth Ward brand container. I think I saw at one point recently that someone was like, oh, it's really hard to get your hands on the Elizabeth Ward brand containers from Amazon. And I was like, are we about to see them like discontinue or pretend like they're discontinuing these all over again? I did a series, I think it's been 2 years now, that was like alternatives to Elizabeth Ward storage, because there was like this whole scare that was like, oh no, like it's been said that like the parent company is going to stop making these containers. And so I like did a deep dive on like, here's some good alternatives if you like this sort of concept of this particular storage system. So I think those videos are probably still relevant, like some of the storage containers that I did show in those. That probably needs some static or some dryer sheet in it. But yeah, it's just been fun to brainstorm for events, and I'm trying to, like, especially for the month of April, like really hold things loosely as far as the kits that I work on and follow my nose so that I feel like I'm getting to do what I want before I go into event mode, which is going to be a lot of like, okay, now we're working on kits for events. Sorry, I just got a notification on my watch. Earn 50% more points site-wide. Members will get 50% more. Okay. All right. Well, I gotta go see what they have in stock. There's a couple of kits on my wish list that I have been waiting for them to restock for a while. So, gotta go check that out. Can you tell how late I'm filming? Is it midnight? Is that why? I got a late start to filming tonight. Yeah, it's midnight. They must have that scheduled to go out right at midnight. Look at that static. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This is a really good example, you guys. Lots of static going on in this particular bag. I'm not going to try to shake these out just as is, because we just know those drills are going to go flying everywhere, right? So what we're going to do is grab some dryer sheet, and we're going to put it in the bag. Man, yeah, it's staticky. It might be okay, because look, those, oh, darn it. Welcome to Klutzy Kidding Up with Katie. Ooh, new channel name. Klutzy Kidding Up with Katie. Okay, so anyway, we'll pick those up in a minute. So we're gonna fold this over where it was cut open. And depending on how big like the bag is, how bad the static is, you can kind of like move the dryer sheet around to make sure it's like actually getting to all of the areas of the bag and the diamonds. And then it just pours right out. Super easy. Oh, that was so nice. Okay. Now, if I didn't have all these diamonds that went flying, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Getting like extra proof positive of how good the quality is on these. I'm like, ooh, those are some nice, like really consistently cut diamonds. And yeah, I just poured the dryer sheet right into the container with those. So anyway, you guys can't even see like the pretty color spread as I'm going. I'll pull it over so you can see it better in just a moment. Anyway, so let me tell you a little bit about our Easter. Today is Sunday, which is Easter Sunday. If you celebrate, totally not a big deal if you don't celebrate. No pressure, no weirdness for me. Just wanted to mention my family, we did celebrate. Today we got some really good family time. One of the really wonderful things about having Adam's parents and sister and her kids living out here now is that it's like we get to spend holidays and stuff together, which is really fun. And Connor's been really excited to see his cousin for a while. And is there more ice cream in there?
Yeah, but I was trying to...
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's a WIP and Chat. Or it's a kid up. They don't care. I'm like, don't let your ice cream melt because you're afraid to open the freezer.
That'd be fine.
He just brought over and he just set like his pint of Halo top because he didn't eat all of it, which same. But I'm like, it's gonna melt. So you don't want to make noise. It's a WIP and Chat. You guys like when you hear Adam, right? So anyway, we got to have some family time today, which was really fun. and the kids got to play. We did an Easter egg hunt. The Easter bunny came and hid some eggs at a park for us. And it was also like a really fun combo, like birthday party celebration type thing, because 3 of the people in the family have birthdays sort of around this time. I'm not giving you identifying information. And so we just got like a big combo party, and it was really fun. I'm trying to make sure I have the right... What color do I need? I need 720. Okay, here's this strand. But I just want to make sure there's not like additional strands, because sometimes there's like this color, like 754. We've got like a big bag of it, and we have a strand of like some smaller bags. So anyway, just making sure, just being thorough. So yeah, we did a combo birthday party and had some cake. Then we did the Easter egg hunt, and the boys got to play. I got some adorable pictures. And speaking of adorable pictures, Adam and I managed to get ourselves and the kids like up and out the door at a decent time this morning, and actually managed to like get dressed into semi-cute clothes. Actually, it was pretty cute clothes, let's be honest. And we actually made it to church this morning, which doesn't usually happen. And we even got like a family picture because they had some cute photo spots set up and stuff. And I was like, it's been a long time since we've gotten a picture of the 4 of us together, and we all look pretty like put together. Like let's wait in like this short line for this little cute photo spot they have set up. And I was really glad that we did. I really am glad that we have that picture of the 4 of us. And yeah, Connor had a little bit of a tough time with that, with the sort of drop off. So it was kind of like a new situation. It's been a while since we've been to church and stuff like that. But he did okay. Micah was totally fine. He was like, just leave me here. I'm just going to play. And so we did get to do that, which was nice. And like, it's weird because I felt like really good about being like, okay, we managed to get ourselves put together and out the door. And then I posted that picture to social media, like my personal profiles, which I do try to keep just to like my friends and family, people that I know in real life, just for my kids' privacy. I don't tend to post that much to those profiles anymore anyway. I get a little disillusioned from like a lot of my personal social media accounts. But anyway, I do post some pictures, especially for like we have family and friends that live far from us, that like social media is really the best way that we stay up to date with what our kids are up to and families are up to and stuff. So anyway, I posted that picture, and I found myself sort of 2 minds. So I had a little bit of a moment like when we went to church, and I was just finding myself sliding into this really easy space of wanting to compare myself to others. And this is something that I do often struggle with in like sort of various aspects of my life, where it's really hard not to play the comparison game. Like I was thinking like, wow, like this family really seems to have it all together. Like, oh, they've been coming regularly and to church or something, or this family seems like, this mom seems like she's really on it with like doing stuff with like her kids and her family. And it's between like what I sort of had the reminder of in person and what I see still like on my personal social media feeds, it just was like, man, I really like, I don't have it together like at all. Sometimes it really feels that way, and it feels like really defeating. It's really hard to like not feel like a failure, or like, wow, like I just am really, I'm not like doing all the things that I should be. And I know in my head, I was like, you can't compare like your real life to someone's highlight reel, because that's what people post on social media is the highlight reel, is like the stuff that like looks good, or even like if it comes from like not a malicious place, like the picture that I posted of our family today, it was like, this is like the one time this has happened in how many months. Like, this is not me saying that like this is what my life looks like all the time. It was a snapshot of a moment in time that was the exception rather than the rule. I didn't post that photo at anyone or to make anyone feel less than. it's not like it was a perfect picture. I mean, like, neither of my kids were like, Micah wasn't smiling, and Adam was like, I'm not sure about the angle, and I was like, I had a weird like thing about how I had my hand on Connor's shoulder. So I found like things to pick apart that was like, yeah, it's not like it's a perfect picture anyway. But I felt a mix of feelings. It was like I wanted to post this because I did like feel like happy about it. Like I was happy that we got this picture. But I also felt like, am I making someone else feel bad? And it's like I have some of a responsibility in that, but I don't necessarily. So it was a weird feeling, especially because, like I said, I found myself in two minds where I was like, well, I'm sitting here wanting to compare myself to others. That's a me problem. But like, just because I posted like a picture of my family, where I don't post like a ton of pictures on my social media in general, it wasn't at anyone. It's not a me problem if someone else has like I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to make anyone feel like I'm trying to say I'm better than them or I have it all together. So it was, I don't know. And that plays out also in a lot of aspects of, well, like having a YouTube channel even, or just like relationships, friendships, like life goals, parenthood, like all these things that can totally play out. I certainly see it like in, to relate it to you guys and whatnot. I see it in the crafting space and in the content creator space, that it is like very, very easy to compare like I don't know, it's like, wow, this person, they diamond paint like more, I don't know, like their lines are really straight, or this person diamond paints faster than I do, or this person has like the ability to buy more kits than I do, or something like that. Like in the crafting sense, there's definitely that possibility of like comparing or trying to like measure up to what other people are doing, whether like the other person is trying to make you feel bad about yourself or not. It's like, this is very much like the social media space. And then definitely as a content creator, it's definitely really easy to kind of look at what other content creators have or are doing or whatnot, and feel like, oh wow, like I wish that I had that person's success in this way, or I wish that I had like this thing that this other person has. And I mean, I still find myself doing that like all the time. Especially, I don't know. And then I feel some type of way when it's like, well, someone else wanted what I have, and so they just copied my concept. And I'm like, but at the same time, like you gotta focus on you. Like it's easier for me sometimes in this space to be like, well, I'm just gonna put my head down and focus on the content that I'm creating. I'm not gonna worry about what other people are doing. I think that is a piece of advice that I would just generally give to any content creator, is like, don't try to just like copy or imitate or emulate like what other people are doing. It's like, find your own voice and figure out like, what do you enjoy? Like what actually brings you joy? And let that be the driving force behind it. And I have to remind myself of that sometimes, but I still compare myself. I'm like, man, like it would be really cool. Like if my strength were this thing, like this person had the success doing this thing, like, wow, I wish that I were better at doing this thing. The comparison often goes hand in hand with imposter syndrome as well. They're both bad news. Try not to let yourself fall into either pitfall. It's definitely the risk of sort of like having a channel, being on social media in general, especially if you're like, there's a huge diamond painting presence over on Instagram. There's a big diamond painting presence here on YouTube, and you can't compare yourself to what other people are doing. And I have to remind myself of that in my personal life. I definitely have a harder time with that in my personal life, especially with parenting. With parenting, it's so hard because parenting is so intensely personal, and like the stakes feel really high because like you're raising kids and all of that. So I feel like I've just gone on a like stream of consciousness, total spiral / rabbit hole. So awesome if you guys have kept up and stuck around. I appreciate you. I guess the point I'm trying to make is just this idea of like, don't try to compare yourself to what other people are doing. Don't try to keep up with what other people are doing. Just worry about kind of like what you're doing, what brings you joy, and yeah, I guess, yeah, keep your eyes on you. Okay. Things that I want to focus on instead. Yeah, I was gonna say I always take little notes, and some people are like, I don't take notes. That's not organic for my videos. I'm like, that's fine. I take notes because I am the most highly forgetful person on the face of the planet, and I have no shame in taking notes and making notes, because otherwise I'll just sit here and be like, what was I gonna talk about? What was I gonna talk about? Okay, colors that I need: 816, 817, 815. Okay, perfect. 814. Here we go. Ooh, this is there's a big set of these. Are you guys loving these like rich oranges and reds? They're so happy. I think this is gonna need a bigger, I don't think it's gonna need the biggest size. We'll see. I feel like if I didn't go into this knowing that it was a fox, I would see all these colors and be like, this is a fox. Because all these rich reds and browns. I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, so things that I just choose to focus on instead. And I need to take these things that I'm good at focusing on instead in like the content creating world, and I need to apply them more to the way that I view my parenting and my relationships, my friendships, my marriage, like just everything. Like I need to apply this to life. And that's just to, yeah, like focus on what's bringing me joy. Go ahead and like just focus on, okay, these are what my strengths are. I don't have to be good at all the things. It's okay if someone else is really good at this thing. I don't also have to be good at this thing. And here's another really important thing, is just the idea that like, again, that like if someone else is successful in something, that doesn't automatically mean that like I'm less than. And on the flip side, my tearing someone else down doesn't actually elevate me. It's actually a really bad reflection on me. Yeah, tearing someone else down isn't it for me. Like I was talking about this a little bit the other day, and thinking about it, I was like, there are some people in this community that are like the most genuine and wonderful, like hype people ever, that I'm like, I would just love to have this person like help hype me up in the morning. Like I was thinking specifically about like Nurse Rachel in crafts. I'm like, she always has like a nice and supportive thing to say about everyone. And it feels like it's truly the most like genuine and authentic thing ever. And I'm like, I just want to be like best friends with her and have her like hype me up every morning, because she just seems like she just is that, she genuinely believes the best and like wants the best in everyone. I think that's really sweet. I'm like, now I'm just like, I want to be like that. I want to be like her when I grow up. She's so sweet. You should check out her channel. I don't know if she's making like quite as many videos lately. I know she's super, 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 super busy, but I really love her content. She's very, very sweet. Anyway, along with that, like sort of the comparison game that I was kind of talking about, I was like, well, let me boil this down to what it feels like I'm missing, or goals that I want to have. Like I'm thinking about specifically family. Like I'm going back to how I was sort of feeling today specifically. And I was like, I feel like I want to have more quality time as a family. Like I want to be just coming up with more like fun things to do with my kids and that sort of thing. But that always battles really directly with just this really big struggle I have with executive dysfunction, which is just sort of the struggle to get tasks done that are, they should not be like big deals. They should be like, it's like making a phone call. It's like when making a phone call, it's like, it's just making a phone call. What's difficult about it? It's like, well, executive dysfunction is where your brain, it's not a little deal. It's more than that. It turns into a thing. And so I'm trying to figure out like, okay, well, how can I hack my brain and get past this sort of struggle with executive dysfunction and sort of get past that and be like, okay, no. Let's find some things that we can do and get to this where I feel like, okay, we're having some like more quality time. And it's just that, we spend, there's so much that we could be doing. Especially given where we live, especially like even just like low cost. So I like to be a little bit more on it with that. And so I don't want to make it about like, I want to live up to what other people are doing. It's like, no, I want my kids to have some really fun memories. And I just want to kind of like stretch ourselves and do a little more and that sort of thing. And so I'm making it about like a positive thing. It's like, what do I want from this? Ooh, we got some static. Can we shake this out? So I'm kind of noodling on that a little bit to see like, okay, how can I make an action plan? But things are a little hectic right now. Like that is probably gonna have to wait another couple of weeks. There has just been really a lot going on. Like we're in the midst of a couple weeks where there's been a lot going on. Like just it feels like a lot on our plate all at once. It's a lot of just stuff that needs to get done, like time sensitive things. It's like, I have to make this call because we have to make this change to our car insurance because it goes into effect on this date. And so that call and that change has to be taken care of and implemented. Like I have to do this tomorrow. It's like we're on a deadline. It's like, okay, income taxes in the US are due here real soon. Like that has to happen. Like this has to happen on this date. Or this bill is coming due, or, oh, it's like, okay, dang it. Like Connor has to go to the dentist because he has this time sensitive thing that we need to get taken care of. And it just feels like we've been in the midst of a couple of weeks of like multiple time sensitive things. And I'm like, did it all have to happen at once? And it really does fit my sort of mantra and my impression of how life goes, which is truly like when it rains, it pours, both in like stressful and difficult things and often in like good things. And I'm like, okay, we're in like the stressful when it rains it pours season right now. I'm gonna focus on the good. We're gonna break it down into to-do lists and I'm gonna take care of business. We're gonna get it done. We got this. We've got this. Totally got this. I don't got this. No, it'll be fine. Well, that just barely fit in that size container. That'll be fine. Did I miss any static? Okay. So that's kind of what I'm on. I'm like, okay, I want to make my to-do lists. And because I hate making to-do lists. Is anyone else like this? I actually really, really, really strongly dislike, like I have an aversion to making to-do lists. Like it bothers me. And I'd be like, well, just let me live my life. I feel like that ties into like this idea of this like sub-profile of autism called PDA, which is pathological demand avoidance. That's a whole thing, but I'm not going to get into it today. Oh, what are these diamonds doing here? A few colors we missed. Anyway, the point is I don't like making to-do lists. I have an aversion to it. But I know that they help me. Like the reality is that they help me to have it broken down into manageable steps. And then I get to like, okay, now we're going to move on and do this thing. Okay, now let's move on and do this thing. And it realistically speaking, it breaks it down into manageable steps and you're less likely to forget about stuff. But I don't like it. But I have my lists. I'm looking at my list. I know what things are time sensitive. I know what we got to get done. But I've just wanted to dig my heels on it a little bit. But I don't like to-do lists. I did go to, speaking of my to-do list, I did knock out a couple of things last week, including I went over to Lowe's, which is a home improvement store here in the States, if you're not in the States. We have like Home Depot and Lowe's are kind of the big ones, I feel like, nationwide. I'd gone to Home Depot and had a less than helpful conversation with the cabinets person there. But then I went to Lowe's and had a really, really helpful and good conversation with their cabinets person. Who was able to give me exactly the information that I needed as far as like, we only need to replace like 2 cabinets. We are not doing a whole kitchen reno. No way. Absolutely no way. But can you give me a quote for what the cost would be for us just to replace like this cabinet and then this like pantry style cabinet? And she was able to do that. I was actually very surprised to find out that it actually very much looks like it's going to be less expensive for us to go the custom route as opposed to like just ordering like the new cabinets where it like comes as the whole thing. Especially because like even though the Lowe's lady was very, very, very helpful and I was so appreciative, the cost was going to be really high. And then she was like, and this doesn't include installation because we only contract we work with contractors if it's a whole kitchen reno. And I was like, but I'm not putting these cabinets up. She's like, yeah, well, you'd have to like hire someone like yourself, like apart from us to like do that. I was like, okay. Also, that cost is without installation. Holy cow. So yeah, I think we're gonna go the custom route, but we did have a talk and decided that we're gonna We're going to put that off a little bit longer because technically, like, that is not a super time sensitive thing to do. In my head, it kind of is because it's stressing me out to have these cabinets missing. But it's like we've taken care of all the damage. If you didn't know, if you're like newer, which there's lots of new people here all the time. So we had some significant water damage from like our upstairs bathroom leaking down into our downstairs bathroom and then spreading. And it spread and it affected some of the walls and cabinets in our kitchen even because it went down and it hit the ground and it didn't have anywhere to go. So it just pulled and spread outwards. We've been in home construction mode for 2 months now. It's been about 2 months. And all of the repairs have been done. We have, they had to rip out so much wall, you guys. We lost like a lower set of kitchen cabinets, as well as a tall pantry style cabinet, like almost floor to ceiling cabinet. And we lost a ton of drywall, and we lost like the vanity in our downstairs bathroom. The vanity in the downstairs bathroom will probably be the very last thing that we replace, honestly, because we have an upstairs bathroom that is like a full bath that we can just be like, we'll just use that one. Anyway, it has been a whole process, and we have all the repairs taken care of, that we have drywall put back up and textured and everything. So we have textured walls here. And then my mom and I painted when my mom was in town. And so like that got taken care of. And now kind of the next thing to do is to get the cabinets replaced and to get the vanity replaced. And both of those things are just technically like not really time sensitive and they're very expensive. So we're like, well, we're going to put a pause on that, and that will hopefully come around soon. Things I think are still going really well with Adam's job. He started his new job a few weeks ago, and it's a part-time contract gig, and I think that it has been going really well. I overheard him in his first, like one of his first staff meetings recently, and it was really fun because I heard him like getting to share a lot about like family and about himself and stuff, because they do like I forget what they called it, hot seat, where it's like, okay, you're on the hot seat for this week's staff meeting, and then people will just like ask you questions and get to know you and stuff. And I thought that was like really, really cute, and just again kind of representative of how like this company's vibe is. I wonder, you guys, do those almost look like, I think my eyes are playing tricks on me. I think they're playing tricks on me. Yeah, no, they totally are. That was an optical illusion. I was like, did these look like different dye lots? These are both 947. It was like where I was holding them. I was gonna be like, Jade at Gem Shop, why are these different dye lots? They're not. They're fine. No one panic. Anyway, other fun stuff that's going on. So I finished listening to an audiobook series this past week that was really fun. I had been listening to the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas, who is the same author as she wrote the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, which I read that whole series. And I finished the Crescent City series, which is another series of hers. I'm not going to give any spoilers here, so just in case you're in the middle of reading those books or thinking you might, I'm not going to say anything at all. But I was on the verge of finishing the book. I had like 2 hours left in my listening. And Jacqueline, Diamond Art Sparkle, she's one of my dear friends. She's a huge fan of the book, and she was like, I have to go to sleep, but literally like wake me up when you finish the book. And I was like, why would I wake you up? And she's like, you'll know. I was like, oh, okay. I got to the end and I woke her up. I was like, what? I was freaking out. No spoilers again, I promise. But it was incredible. It was amazing. And I guess the third one is coming out, I think, January next year. And I was like, well, obviously that's going on the pre-order list. So I thought that was really fun. I finished that audiobook and I was in a bit of like a book hangover for a couple of days because I was like I was just like processing and absorbing like what happened at the end of that book. I was like, what do I even do with myself? I do eventually, hopefully sooner rather than later, actually, I'd like to read the other series that Sarah J. Maas has done, the Throne of Glass series. But I hear that one is chunky. That is a huge undertaking of a series. But I know lots of people love it. And because of the nature of like what she's doing with her books, like I would like to have that series read before, ideally like before the next Crescent City book comes out. So I think I'm going to take a little break from listening to audiobooks though, because I was kind of in the mood to do something else as my background noise. So I did shift back over to TV shows. I had been wanting to do a rewatch of Supernatural for quite some time, and I kind of felt like I was dancing around it. I was like, well, I'm going to listen to some audiobooks, or I'm going to try watching this other show, which I never ended up going back to the Vampire Diaries, by the way. Like, I kind of gave up on that. Where was I? Like halfway through what season was that? 5? I just was like, well, and I want to go listen. I'm going to go finish these like audio. I was in the middle of another audiobook that I had like put a pause on several months back. And I was like, I'm going to listen to this audiobook. And that kicked off me listening to the rest. It was one of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. So I was like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to finish the one that I was in the middle of that I stopped like 6 months ago. So I finished that one. I was like, I'm going to keep going with the series. And then I finished the A Court of Thorns and Roses series and was like, well, I'm in the mood to continue listening to audiobooks. Let me go ahead and move on to the next Sarah J. Maas series. And I was like, Jacqueline and Emma, who also loves these books. She's Diamond Fun Times on Instagram. I was like, which one should I read next? And they're both like Crescent City because the new one's coming out in January and you need to read this series. I was like, okay. But yeah, that was a lot of audiobook listening in the past few weeks. So I'm back to rewatching Supernatural. I kind of want to rewatch Shadowhunters again too. I really, really, really enjoyed that series a lot. And it reminded me, I was reminded of that series because I follow this particular Facebook page. Oh shoot, what's it called? Something of a fangirl. Like Diary of a Fangirl or something like that. And like once a year, like once every 6 months, she'll put together this bracket of different like fantasy, like TV show characters, fantasy and sci-fi TV show characters. And she'll just like do random pickers to like put them in the lineup. And it's a lot of shows and stuff that like I've watched, and I'll be like, okay, we're now like in this round, in this bracket, it's going to be like Magnus Bane from Shadowhunters versus this like River Song from Doctor Who or something like that. That was not one of the lineups. That's just an example. And I was like, okay, use this emoji to vote for this one and this emoji to vote for this one. And it's kind of like a niche enough Facebook page that it's like a small enough community that like, I find this to be amusing and not like, oh, this is obnoxious because there's like a million people involved in it. It's like fun to read the comments on it, and it's just a bunch of nerds nerding, and it's a lot of fun. I've discovered some new shows or books and stuff like that to try because of these like silly brackets, and it's funny to see like who ultimately wins. I'm trying to remember who won her last round. I think, like I said, she does it maybe once a year or twice a year, and it's just fun. I'll go look up that Facebook page in case you're a fellow nerd and listening, and you want to go and take a look. I think the latest round that I saw up was, shoot, who was it? A character from the X-Files, which I didn't watch that show. And then like, Mal from Firefly. And I was like, that's fantastic. Oh man, that's another show I need to rewatch is Firefly. But anyway, oh my gosh, you guys, we're coming on the hour mark and it's really late. I'm going to try to get this uploaded so that it's ready to go for you guys. First thing in the morning as usual. It might go up late. My apologies if so. We have just a few other colors to get through. We got through almost all of them. Look at the pretty color spread we have so far. So yay, this is my mystery kit from Jada Gem Shop. I'm going to start working on it tomorrow. I'm going to kit it up and then probably go to bed. And thanks for hanging out with me in my WIP and Chat. If you made it all the way to the end, how about an emoji that, what should we do? Some kind of emoji that has orange in it because we have all these beautiful oranges for this Foxy kit. I've had you guys do fox emojis a lot, so we'll just pick any emoji that has orange in it. If it happens to be a fox, that's fine, but it doesn't have to be. Anyway, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you were working on, and if you're maybe thinking you might want to try a mystery gift from Jada Gem Shop, I'll link to the listing below if you want to take a look. Like I said, you can, if you decide to order one, you just pick what size you want, and you can leave if you want any like guidelines like for her in the order notes, so you can say, can you pick something from my wish list and link to your wish list on her website. She has a wish list feature. Or if you're like, I would love a mystery kit from this artist or in this genre, you can do that kind of thing and she'll pick something for you. So don't forget her turnaround time is longer because everything is made to order. She has all that info on the website too. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys, and following my ramblings. I am glad that you're here, and it was nice actually because I felt a bit just sort of the way that I describe it is I felt like my brain was like I can't like bring my thoughts back together. I felt like a little less focused today and like just very rambly in general. So I always appreciate that this is a space where I get to kind of like unpack that and just sort of chat with you guys, and I feel a little bit more sort of level and centered. So thank you for doing that for me. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing start to your week. Thanks again for being here. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. You can stay up to date with all my diamond painting content, and watch out for lots of fun content this week. So have a wonderful rest of your day, you guys, and I'll chat with you in the next one. Bye.